Hey everyone, I'm Douglisa, and I'm super excited to share this smoky eye look with you. If you're interested to see how I achieved this look, just keep on watching. Okay guys, so I'm starting out with freshly moisturized skin, and I'm going in with my Covergirl Ultrafine Brow Pencil in the shade Rich Brown just to carve out the shape of my brows. I do have pretty full brows, but I still like to carve them out and give them a more defined look. Okay, now I'm going in with a cream gel to fill in my brows. This cream gel is by Benefit Kabrow, and it is in the shade 5. So I'm going in with that, just filling in my brows. Don't be alarmed if they look a bit harsh right now. Everything will pretty much balance out as the look comes together. So I'll do that on both eyes, left and right, and I'll continue to fill those in to my liking. Okay, now I'm going in with the LA Girl Pro Conceal in the shade Chestnut just to clean up around my brows before we get started with the eyeshadow and face routine. I usually do this with a color that's a little bit lighter than my skin tone, depending on how much I want the underbrow highlight to be for myself. So I'm just going in and carving out and getting as close to my brows as possible, and I'm using a small concealer brush to do this. So I'll carve out both, or clean up both, the bottom of my brows and the top of my brows in the shade Chestnut. Now I'm going in with a larger eyeshadow brush by Real Techniques just to blend out that concealer underneath my eyebrow to avoid any harsh lines in the area, to make everything transition and look as smooth as possible. Going along with the process of blending out all the concealer around my brows, I noticed that I need to do a slight touch up for my brows at the very front, just trying to make sure I have that airbrush effect and that my eyebrows are not too harsh at the very front. Now I'm going in with the Farsali Skintune Blur just to prep my skin. I love this serum here. It is awesome, and it creates a very smooth and flawless foundation. It's one of my favorites. I have a few that I love, and this is one of them. I always buy the minis because I'm not an everyday makeup wearer. Mainly when I wear makeup is when I'm traveling and I'm going out to an event. So you'll see me use a lot of mini products. It's just easier for traveling, in my opinion. Now that the skin is all prepped and primed, I just wanted to show you the palette that we'll be working with today. This palette is the Morphe Fall into Frost palette. Love, love, love this palette. But first we need to go in and prep our lids for the eyeshadow. So I'm using the LA Girl Pro Conceal in the shade Toffee, placing that on my lid and just blending it out for full coverage to prepare for my shadow. Now I'm going in with a brown color just to put into my crease as a transition, and I'll smooth that out to get a nice blurred blended effect to prepare for my darker shadows to follow. Now I'm taking the darkest shade in that palette, which is black, to cover my lids with. I don't always do extravagant eye looks because I have very, very tiny eyes and hooded lids, so eye looks are not my specialty, but I'm taking that to cover my lids to eventually blend out to have a smoky effect. That black was not as black as I liked it to be, so I'm dipping into the Morphe Jaclyn Hill Dark Magic palette to use a bit of that black to go on top of the one that I just used. I picked this up at Ulta, really nice palette with a lot of color payoff, so if you're interested you can shop there for that palette. At this point, I'm dipping back into the original Morphe Fall into Frost palette into my transition color just to blur out those edges and to blend them out so that there's no harsh lines between the transition color and the shade of black. This will give me that more smoky effect, so I'll blend this out as evenly as possible on both sides until I achieve the look that I'm satisfied with. Now I'm going in with a 3D Mink Lash by LillyLashes. I love LillyLashes. These lashes are in the style Milan. First, I'm going to put mascara on my eyelashes before applying the lash, just to give them a more blended look, so that you can't tell the difference between my lash and the falsies. And I'm actually using the Duo eyelash glue with aloe, so that's what I'm using to apply my lashes. I am a double primer type of woman. Right here I'm going in with the Becca Ever Matte Poreless Priming Perfector. I have combination skin, so this is perfect to put in my areas that tend to get a bit more oily throughout the day. So I put this around my forehead, my cheeks, my nose area especially, to make sure that I'm staying as matte as possible for as long as possible. I love the Becca primer. It is awesome. It's super drying for some people, but it's just right for my skin. Now that my skin is all primed and prepped, I'm going in with the Maybelline Dream Satin Liquid in the shade Cocoa. A lot of people do not believe me when I tell them that I normally use Maybelline foundation for my makeup routines. They are shook, okay? you can see it right here. I am using Maybelline. Maybelline is the GOAT when it comes to drugstore foundations, drugstore products in general. I love Maybelline products, I always have. I'm pretty sure I always will. You will always find something Maybelline whenever I am doing my makeup. So I'm using that. It provides awesome coverage with an airbrush-like finish for me. And it's not super drying. I'll say that even with my primer that I'm using by Becca that can be drying for some people, this foundation is not super drying. It provides the right amount of coverage for me, and it feels super good on the skin. After using my brush to apply my foundation, I like to go back in with a sponge to just make sure everything is seamless and blended. This sponge is by Real Techniques. I love all of their brushes and all of their sponges. They are super awesome when it comes to coverage and blending. So I'm just simply blending my foundation out, making sure that everything is seamless. You do not see any lines from our brush at all. Now I'm going in with the LA Girl Pro Conceal in the shade Chestnut for my under eye highlight, around my forehead and down the bridge of my nose. I'll kind of put this on and blend my forehead out and my chin out, and I'll let the concealer around my eyes kind of dry down a bit before I move in and start to blend that out. So I'm going to use a Real Techniques brush to achieve this, just simply blending and making sure everything is seamless. So while my under eye concealer dries down a bit, I'm going in with the black Opal True Color foundation stick in the shade Ebony, and I'm carving out my contour at this point. So I'll carve out my cheekbones and around my forehead area just to help with the shading of my face, to bring back a little structure to it. So I'll blend that out also with a Real Techniques brush. Again, I love these brushes. They're super awesome. So I'll blend that out while that concealer dries down, and then I'll move into blending out the under eye concealer. Because I want a bit of a more highlighted look underneath my eye, I'm going in with the LA Girl Pro Conceal in the shade Toffee. As you can see, it's just a bit lighter than the concealer that I used before in the shade Chestnut. I just want a bit more highlighted look, so I'm going to go ahead and apply that and then blend that out as well. So to set my concealer, I'm using the Laura Mercier Translucent Setting Powder. One of my favorite powders. It lasts so long and it creates this smooth blurring effect to help blend everything together. I love this powder. So as you can see, I'm actually using it on all of the highlighted portions of my face.
Ryan Little.
Okay, so I could not find my finishing powder, so I'm going in with the Fenty Beauty Pro Filt'r setting powder in the shade Nutmeg to kind of set everything else that was not highlighted to begin with. So I'm just setting the perimeters of my face because this shade is a bit closer to my skin tone than the translucent powder by Laura Mercier. So call me weird, but I like to go in with my bronzer after I set my face. I'm using the Fenty Beauty bronzer in the shade Mocha Mami. I love this bronzer. I just want to bring warmth back to my face. So right here, I'm taking the Fenty Beauty setting powder in the shade Nutmeg to kind of help with my contour here. So I'm going under my contour line, under my cheekbone, just to kind of carve that out so that it's a bit more noticeable. So I'm going to blend that into my skin as well. Now I'm going in with the NYX Control Freak Brow Gel. This is a clear brow gel that does not dry down white. It is not flaky at all. I love this brow gel. It is long lasting. So now it's time for blush. I'm using the Black Radiance blush in the shade Toasted Almond. Love this blush. I've been using it for so long. It's pretty much the only one that I actually use. Now to finish off the look, the eye look at least, I'm going to continue to smoke my eye out by going back into that Morphe Fall Into Frost palette and use that black shade along with the transition shade that was sort of a brownish red color. I'm going to go in and just smoke out my bottom lash line using both of those colors. I had a mistake there, so I kind of had to clean it up with a bit of concealer, and then I'll go in with the brush to kind of smooth that out. Now I'm going in with the Covergirl Exhibitionist mascara just to make sure that I take care of my bottom eyelashes. I'm just pretty much tickling the bottom of my eyelashes here. I don't have much hair there, so I wanted to make sure that I wasn't getting mascara on my makeup. Now I'm taking a gold shade out of that Morphe palette just to give myself an inner corner highlight here. I love an inner corner highlight. It adds a bit of color to your look and helps your eyes stand out and make you look a little bit more awake. Now to set my face, I'm using the MAC Prep and Prime Fix Plus Spray. And for lips, I'm going in with the Shayla and Colourpop Lippy Pencil. This is in BFF4. This is a nice chocolate brown liner to help out with a nude lip. For my lips, I'm using the NYX Lingerie Gloss in the shade Sable. Okay guys, this is the final look. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll have all of the products listed in the description box below. If you like this video and you want to see more like it, please make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Thanks so much.